carbohydrates from your diet.
Same thing here. We're looking at those hormones. You know that they control so much of everything. I know we're going to talk about it in just a little bit, but eliminating carbohydrates, that tells us exactly what's going on.
All right, so there have been 5 questions. You all answered them. How many of you answered all 5 as yes? We got a couple people here. All right. If you answered yes to these, to any of these, frankly, Chris says that your metabolism has slowed down and we can help reverse it. Now, if you've answered, let me just see what's up there. Who's answered yes again to all of them? Just come on down. Come on down. How are you? This is Chris Powell.
Hi, Chris.
How are you doing?
Stacy.
Stacy.
Yes.
All right, come on over here, Stacy. We're going to talk to you a little bit. So how long have you been struggling with your weight?
Well, my entire life. I think I've been on a diet since I was born. And as far as metabolism, I don't have one.
Okay, I've heard that before.
Yeah, we've heard both those before.
Okay.
So, Chris, explain a little bit. There are 3 key rules he argues, 3 important rules. We'll write these down. That if you can follow Chris's miracle plan, you'll be able to accomplish. So, Chris says rule number 1 is to boost your metabolism every 3 hours with that Power 3 plate. Now, how do you do this, Chris?
All right, well, first and foremost, we eat breakfast, and then, of course, every 3 hours after that. This is the Power 3 plate, and what it does is it's comprised of either a portion of protein and veggies, and then either complex carbohydrates or fats. Now, we're always going to have 3 things on there. I always have protein and veggies on there, and then we do, once again, complex carbohydrates or fats. We do the complex carbs on what I call high-carb days on my plan,
Right.
and then we do the fats, just the protein, the veggies, and the fats on what I call low-carb days, when we're focusing on burning fat. So we have the high-carb days where we boost muscle, low-carb days where we burn fat.
Exactly. Rule of 3 is every 3 hours and 3 different foods in each meal. Doable, right?
Doable.
Now, a lot of people say that, but deep in their heart, they don't really believe it. So we have come up with a unique demonstration, a death-defying demonstration here to help really bring us alive. Now, let's go through a fast-working metabolism. Okay? So, you have breakfast, right? Which you know you're supposed to do. When you have breakfast, you turn on your metabolism. And as you turn your metabolism on, something very unique happens. You will light a fire. So as you turn the metabolism on,
My metabolism.
it's like your metabolism. And boom. There you go. You turn it on. And as the metabolism is turned on, you had breakfast, you start to burn through calories, right?
Okay.
Now, 3 hours later, you'll start to see that ebb down, which is what's supposed to happen. And then what do? You have a snack. Once you've had the snack, metabolism speeds up a little bit. Then lunchtime comes, you eat a little bit more, speeds up the metabolism, especially if you have the rule of 3s. Now you are burning through lots of calories, and your friends are so mad at you. Right? Because they're saying, how come you're eating all that food and still losing weight? Because you're eating the right foods. Then it starts to ebb down again 3 hours later. Snack time, have a little something, it rubs it up a little bit more. And then finally, by dinner time, you're hungry again. And what do? You have a meal, and you have that meal, and then now it really surges, and you burn through it all. So by the time you go to sleep at night, your metabolism has begun to slow down a little bit, but it's burnt off all the calories, so it's not deposited on your fat. Okay. Now, that's what Chris is saying. So, Chris, typically, what do some of your clients do?
Well, they skip breakfast.
Skip breakfast. Now, it's early in the morning, your metabolism is as low as it's going to get anyway. And you skip breakfast. I'll tell you, if this flame could go out, it would. Right? And it goes way down. And then what happens?
And then they skip their snack. And before you know it, you don't eat till what? 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And now the flame is, look at that, it's almost gone. Yeah, it's almost gone. When you finally get a little lunch in there, you get a little more metabolism going. Not quite as noisy and loud and burny as it was when you eat normally, but it's a little bit better. Then you have a snack, right? You get a little bit more metabolism there, and then you have dinner. But guess what? Because your dinner wasn't followed eating the right kind of foods that stimulate your metabolism, you never quite burn it off the way you would have normally burned it off. And so eventually, your metabolism gets slower and slower, and before you go to bed, it goes to nothing. And that's the problem with metabolism. So what you say is truthful, but it's not because you're preordained since birth to have a problem. Fair enough? I'm sure.
Okay.
Let's come on. As well, the next rule. The next rule is going to really drive us home.
Okay.
The next rule is to turn up your metabolic thermostat. So, Chris, you argue very vehemently that the body's metabolic thermostat is actually driven by organ.
Yes, absolutely. And well, there are 2 organs really at play here, but the prime organ here is your thyroid. It's that cool little bow tie organ right here in your throat, and it regulates the rate at which your body's temperature rises and cools, and also the rate at which your body burns calories. That is metabolism in a nutshell.
Chris, put your purple gloves on. You have not donned them yet in the show. This is what your thyroid gland looks like. Come on over here, Stace. So your Adam's apple's right here. The thyroid gland is sort of horseshoe shaped, and it hugs just beneath the trachea and the Adam's apple your throat. Now, this is a normal-looking thyroid.
Okay.
A normal person should not be able to feel their thyroid. This is what happens when your thyroid gets enlarged, which is what happens when it's not working correctly. This is a goitrous thyroid. Y'all see that?
That's icky.
Yeah.
Very icky.
Now, if you see a full neck person, this is often what's happening. And you know what? Part of the problem is you need to keep this thyroid gland functioning at full speed or your metabolism will drop. Now, Chris, you argue that carbohydrates are the key to that. And this is going to sound good to a lot of you. But Chris is not talking about candy bars here.
Yeah, believe it or not, carbohydrates actually help increase the rate at which your body converts the thyroid hormone. So the carbohydrates actually help create a healthy thyroid. And all too often we hear about people that are cutting carbohydrates, but we need them. They're a natural, necessary, essential nutrient in our body. So when we talk about carbs, we're talking about real, whole, natural carbs, not the processed junk that most of us think of. This is real human food here, and there's so many different kinds of incredible grains out there. Most of us, we get stuck on wheat and corn, but there's amaranth, there's buckwheat, there's spelt, there's some incredible grains out there. Quinoa, root vegetables are fantastic. Sweet potatoes, also an incredible nutrient, carbohydrate here. But we got beans and we have legumes, and all too often we find them in cans because it's really easy preparation. A lot of times we don't want to have to boil them. And canned beans and canned lentils and whatnot, they're fantastic for you, but look for low sodium. And of course we got our fruits. And when it comes to your fruits, eat a rainbow of colors because the different colors of those fruits, they represent all the different vitamins and phytonutrients that we need. It's almost like eating a multivitamin.
So it turns out that cutting out carbs from your diet completely will drop your thyroid function by 50%. And when you add the carbohydrates back, you'll take your thyroid function back to where it was supposed to be. So you truly do control that remarkable gland's function with how you eat your carbohydrates. So we control what those organs do by using these nutrients. Okay, so that's the second rule. The third rule, the final rule. You're almost at the end. Third rule is to build metabolic muscle. Chris, how do we do that?
We got to build some muscle, then we got to move that muscle. So come on over here. Okay, so when it comes to just maintaining or building a muscle, a lot of times when we're on a diet, we're at a calorie deficit, all too often our body will actually cannibalize the muscle we have. And muscle, this is our metabolic machinery. I mean, our muscle is more metabolically active than any other tissue on our body. So what we have to do is we have to maintain it or at least build it. How do we do that? It's with resistance training. Weight training, body weight training. Oh, you know what this means? The jacket just came off.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now when it comes to muscle, we want to go after the biggest muscle group in the body, and that's our legs, our glutes, we got our quads, we got our hamstrings. So when we put those in motion, gosh, talk about a metabolic miracle there.
I like it.
So, squats. Good old-fashioned squats. It's what we're made to do. We're made to sit down and stand up. So use your hands as a counterbalance. Let's get those feet split about shoulder width apart. Weights on the heels. Go ahead and use those hands. Reach forward with them as you sink down, and then push through the heels as you stand back up. Just give me about 4 more of those. You guys ready? Here's 4. And stand it up. Good. Here's 3.
Think about sitting in a toilet.
That's it, yeah. Here's 2, exactly. It's almost like I'm grabbing you by your belt and I'm pulling you down and back. And there's 1. Good job. Well done, Stacy. Awesome. Well done. Okay, so that's the big muscle builders. Then we have to do what's called shredders. We do shredders. Those are shapers. And those are the different movements that we do to actually shape and develop the size of our muscle, which is great. Now we do shredders on top of that. And that's when we take the muscle that we built and we put it into motion. We can do it in really, really easy ways. And there's a great interval that I like to do. It starts with 3 minutes of just low intensity. So we're just here, we're breathing, maybe watching TV for 3 minutes. You can do this in your living room.
You're watching Dr. Oz.
That's it, you do it watching Dr. Oz. And then after 3 minutes, we're going to build it up to a medium intensity for 2 minutes. So let's pick those knees up a little bit more. That's it, for 2 minutes. And then we're going to do 1 minute higher intensity. So let's turn this into some jumping jacks, okay? I'm going to split down over here. Ready? 3. You go in front so we can watch you. 3, 2, 1. Jumping jacks. That's it right there. Beautiful.
There we go.
Now what we're doing. Good. Beautiful.
That is very well done. You put you to the ringer.
Yes.
You answer all 5 of those questions with yes. So I think that you're a prime candidate for Chris's plan. We walk you through 3 different ways you can build the metabolism. I want to hear your honest opinion. What do you think?
I can do it.
You can do it. You can commit to do it.
Yeah.
In your heart. Now we're talking. Okay, it's all doable, guys. You can make this happen. All right. For more on this exercise with Chris, you do a whole workout at DrOz.com. When we come back, Chris is revealing the biggest metabolism myths that are keeping us back. Stay with us.
Coming up, they say they know why their metabolism